toothpaste away and to take my shoes off. And you know what? I think that's ludicrous. It really is. That's not protecting us. Meanwhile, the ports are unprotected, trains are unprotected, planes are protected, but the cargo isn't. So yes, maybe I can't walk on with a bomb, but you could plant it inside the suitcase and nobody's checking. So I think the war on terror has been grossly exaggerated to get the American people to spend too much money and to be fearful so that they let that money be spent. I want to see government be cut in all areas, even in war areas. So what I think is we should get out of Iraq as soon as possible. We're heading into an economic calamity. Anyone could see that here in America. Recession is not what we're heading into. We're there now. We've been there for 8 months. I know as a small businessman, we are in recession. I think we're heading for the deepest recession since the 1920s, since the Great Depression. And what are we doing spending up to $1 trillion in Iraq? What are we really accomplishing? Why are our boys dying? I went from the biggest proponent of that war to someone now who believes we've got to make plans to get out as soon as humanly possible. No, I don't want to leave the equipment behind and run with our tail between our legs. I want to be strong, but I want to get out. And like Ron Paul, I want to start cutting foreign aid all around the world dramatically. And I want to start cutting military bases all around the world. And I want to get out of Japan. And I want to get out of Western Europe. And I want to get out of South Korea. We're 50 years too late. You know, politics is always playing catch up. We needed to be there, I guess, 50 years ago. But we don't need to be there now. It's time for Japan and South Korea and Western Europe, three of the great economies of the world, to defend themselves and bring that money and bring those boys back to the United States of America. But I'm a patriot, and I'll always be a patriot. There is a war on terror. I would never say that the war on terror is a fraud. I would say it's been fought wrongly and incompetently, and I have different ideas on how to fight it. But it's there. Don't get me wrong. It's there, and I will defend America just like any other patriotic president would do.
All right. You said also that you're a homeschooler, so
correct.
What is your education policy?
Well, again, just like my healthcare policy, education should be about choice and freedom and competition. I find it amazing that, you know, if tomorrow I set a law that said IBM can have no competition, we put Microsoft out of business, you know, or we put Dell out of business, you know, IBM would be the king. Would Americans go for that? Of course not. That goes against everything we believe in. But the public school teachers want no competition. They want to just, and more importantly, they want to be rewarded for a bad job. The worse job they do, the more money they ask for, because they say, see how bad the job is? We need more money. I believe in freedom of choice, parental rights, and competition. And it's going to be a huge issue for the Libertarian Party in this election because of what just went down in California, where an appeals court judge just ruled, basically, that if you homeschool your children, it's a criminal act. And what he said is so frightening. I want everyone out there to listen to me. John, I want you to listen to me. Dave, listen to me. Here's what he said. First of all, students should never be taught by anyone that doesn't have credentials from the state. Sounds like Joseph Stalin to me. Credentials from the state. And then he said they must go to public or private schools where credentialed teachers that are licensed by the state only can teach them manners, patriotism, and loyalty to the state.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's something you would have heard from Joseph Stalin. It sounds like what he's actually admitting is our schools aren't schools, they're propaganda camps where we brainwash our children to believe what the state wants them to believe. And that's scary, because facts prove that homeschool children score far better grades and far higher test scores than any public school children in this country. Tests prove and facts prove that Catholic school children in New York City, whether they're white or black, score not only higher than public school children, but black children attending Catholic schools in New York City score far higher than black children in public schools, which means it's the opposite of racism. The way to eliminate inequality in this country is to let kids have freedom and not relegate them almost at gunpoint to public schools where they're forced to sit, and if they don't like it, what they're teaching, they tune out and they drop out and they take drugs. And we don't want to force kids to go to places where there are drugs, where there is bullying, where there are guns, where there is violence, and where there's dropout rates of 40 and 50% in major urban school districts in this country. So what I'm trying to say is, you're better off if you could find a way, like that Nevada study, to get your kids some sort of alternative reform education. charter schools, private schools, and of course homeschooling. Those are all the answers. And if we could get everyone in America to participate in that kind of alternative, you know what would happen? We'd have competition for the public schools, and they'd get better.
What a concept.
They get better. And not only that, you got to be able to fire a public school teacher who isn't performing. And teachers' unions get in the way of that. I want to get only the brightest and the best to teach our kids, whether it's public or whether it's private. How's that for competition? How's that for choice? It's all about choice. That's the libertarian way.
So we're down to our last couple of minutes here.
Sure.
Got another question for you. What we're doing right now, it's very unique. Broadcasting live to the world over the internet with a very simple application. We saw what happened with the Republican debates, with YouTube being involved, getting people involved with broadcasts such as this. Where do you see the future of technology playing a role in all this stuff?
Well, you know, I fell in love with the internet back in 1996, 97, and I've never fell out of love with it. My whole life, I don't even make phone calls anymore. My whole life is emails. And now I've fallen in love with a new technology. You know, VM Direct has video emails, and those are the people, Hello World and VM Direct, that gave me the opportunity to be on TV today. And I'm going to use video emails day and night to get my message out through technology to all the voters out there, so you can see a picture of me right in your living room. It might scare some people. My energy comes through that set. It might scare you, but that's okay. You need a jolt. You need to be a little bit scared about what's happening with bigger government in this country. And I'm going to use that technology, and I'm going to use infomercial technology like Ross Perot did in '92, but today it's very different. You can also almost be interactive like this is.
That's right.
On the internet with infomercials airing, we call them webcasts. So I'm going to be the technology presidential candidate, and I'm so excited by the use of video emails that for the rest of my life I can interact with people. They can see me, they can touch me, they can feel me, they can hear me, instead of just a few words on an email.
Right.
It brings emails to life. I am so excited, and I'm just so excited by this opportunity. So I want to thank Hello World. I want to thank VM Direct. I want to thank you, John Lombardo. I want to thank you, Dave Ruprecht. I hope the luck that you gave to that, my hero, Harry Brown, rubs off on Wayne Allyn Root. And as all politicians are wont to say, I want to say this campaign video and this message has been approved by Wayne Allyn Root and the campaign of Wayne Allyn Root.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're all out of time. We will do this again, I hope.
Absolutely.
And those of you who didn't...
I'd like to answer all the questions that weren't answered today.
Well, that was what I was going to say. There's a graphic banner next to me with Wayne's website on it, Root for America.
Root for America.
And you can also... is there a way for them to contact you through that website?
Yes, they can. They can send emails direct to me. And how about this? I'm the only presidential candidate I know of in the United States of America who personally answers as many emails as he can. I'm not saying every one, but I pick every one out of 3 or 4, and I answer them personally, and I give you my thoughts on the fear tax and immigration and economic policy. I'm there for you, America. It is me answering. When you see Wayne at the bottom, I'm actually the one answering that email.
So next time we do this, we'd like to get more questions answered. The best way to get your question answered by Wayne is to submit it ahead of time so that we can have it ready to go when the show starts. But we'll be doing this again very soon. Everybody out there watching, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming and saying hello. Go to www.root4America. The banner next to me shows you that. If you want to know more about this technology, you can click those links above our head, and we will see you soon.
I got a goodbye thought. I got to say it.
Take us out.
If you want to know the difference between me and the big government politicians, compare my energy, compare my passion, compare my spirit for life and for improving your life with an employee of the Department of Motor Vehicle. It's that clear. That's small business up against a small businessman like me, up against big government who doesn't care about you, who doesn't care about anything. They're just living every day waiting for the day they can retire and their pension kicks in. I live every second of every day to improve all of our lives and get government out of our lives. That's my closing message. We want smaller government. We want less spending. We want lower taxes. We want more freedom and more choice and more competition for the American people. God bless you and good night.